Biscuit Oliva has one of the best physiques in all of anime history, but that begs the question, would it actually be physically possible to achieve a physique like Biscuit Oliva's in real life? Let's find out. So let's start by jumping into the stats. So according to Google AI, so take that for what it's worth, Biscuit Oliva is 6'3", 330 pounds. That is wild. That is mind-blowing. This is absolutely massive. So we can already pretty much answer the question for the average everyday person. Could you look like this? Definitely not. But what I want to know is, could anyone actually look like this? So that leads me into the next point. Biscuit Oliva wasn't just drawn up out of thin air, he was actually based on two bodybuilders. And if you've seen any of my videos on him in the past, you probably know who they are. The first is the legendary Sergio Oliva. And side note, for all the people saying that I'm saying Oliva wrong, I'm pronouncing it wrong, this is how you would say Sergio Oliva's name, so that's why Biscuit Oliva's name is pronounced that way. So Sergio was a 3-time Mr. Olympia winner, making him one of the greatest bodybuilders in history. And not only that, but he was the last person to formally defeat Arnold Schwarzenegger in a bodybuilding competition. He was probably Arnold's greatest rival. This guy had a phenomenal physique. He had a super small and narrow waist and huge arms. He had one of the craziest V-tapers in history, and a lot of people say he was one of the best genetically gifted bodybuilders in history. You can actually see he perfected a classic bodybuilding pose called the champion's pose. And you know, to have a physique like this, you've got to have a small waist. So his arms are like literally almost as big as his waist right here. It's crazy. And I love shots like this where you can just see his arms like tearing his sleeves. It just shows how massive his arms actually were. So our character, Biscuit Oliva, was actually modeled after this guy, but you'll notice a lot of shots of Biscuit, he is actually a lot bigger than Sergio. That's where the other bodybuilder that he was modeled after comes into play. And that is the one and only, the greatest bodybuilder of all time, Ronnie Coleman. This guy was absolutely massive. He came in at 5'11" and nearly 300 pounds on stage. He was known as the King, not only because of his size, but because of how shredded he could get at that size. Like, he had crazy glute striations on stage. And if you know anything about bodybuilding, if you have glute striations, that means you're extremely lean, like closer and closer to 0% body fat, which is wild. And this guy perfected it at nearly 300 pounds, which is totally insane. So if you were to combine the aesthetics of Sergio Oliva and the mass monster shreddedness of Ronnie Coleman together, you would get this guy, Biscuit Oliva, who would be probably the greatest bodybuilder that we've ever seen. So that makes me wonder, like, how would he do compared to today's Mr. Olympia? Well, look no further than Samson Dauda. He's listed at 5'11" and anywhere between 275 and 330. 330 probably being his off-season weight. I actually think this guy is a great example of what mass and aesthetics together kind of look like. He's totally massive, yet has a pretty slim and narrow waist. He's got amazing arms and amazing legs. This kind of reminds me a little bit of Biscuit Oliva. But the one thing that I think Biscuit Oliva probably has over Samson, at least right now in his career, is that he is just totally like almost at 0% body fat. Now, of course, this is a drawing, and you could draw him to have -% body fat if you wanted to, kind of, I guess. I don't really know how body fat percentage works when it comes to fictional characters, but you know what I mean. I mean, like in a lot of these shots, you can just see the veins popping out in his shoulders, like all over. Like, these veins are, I guess, big as a lot of people's arms. This is insane. Not only that, but you can see the striations and the fullness of all the muscle bellies. This guy is the epitome of a goated bodybuilder. So this brings me back to the original question. Could you actually achieve a physique like Biscuit Oliva's in real life? If you're an average everyday person, absolutely not. Not even close. You couldn't get close to this. I don't care if you have the best genetics and you're taking all the steroids in the world. This guy literally has the best parts of Ronnie Coleman and the best parts of Sergio Oliva, two of the most goated bodybuilders in history, and they've been combined together for this masterpiece. And even if you were a professional bodybuilder, I still don't think this is possible. So to answer the question, is it achievable? Absolutely not. Who's the next character I should review? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching. YouTube and I think that you'll enjoy this video next, so check that out, and I'll see you over there.